Hello guys, welcome to another driving video. So today we are at Wood Green Driving Test Center and we're going to be starting the Wood Green test route. So yes, we're going to be going through test route number 1 to start with. Today is Friday the 20th. Is it 20? Oh, I can't keep track of dates these days. Okay, 19th. So today is Friday the 19th of April 2024. So keep in mind this video is to help you see what the area looks like, know what to keep in mind, if anything specific or anything special. But keep in mind, I'd say to everyone, try and use this video as a guide, but learn with your instructor. Show your instructors this thing. I'll try my best to speak through some things that I believe might be important to know, and my own way of dealing with those situations. So again, if your instructor maybe tells you something different from this, then keep in mind they might have a local knowledge and they might have a better insight into what examiners expect in this area. So don't forget as well, if that's the case, share in the comment below. We are all learning together. So yep, my job here is to show you what it looks like. If you're wondering, they started in COVID, where we had to take tests in places we had no idea of. And the fact is that there's some places where if you don't know what to expect, you don't know what the roads are like, it's going to be much more difficult for you to pass your tests. Obviously, because you're nervous and you're worried and you're concerned about what examiner is thinking of, and all of that would just slow down your planning, slow down your decision making. So yep, and to try and avoid that and keep it to the minimum, that's why we're doing this. So let's get back out there and get on the road and see what we can pick on. Now, if you are new to this channel, don't forget I've got many other test centers that I've already done. We've done Tottenham, but not finished yet, but we're going to continue that probably along with Wood Green. I've done Hever Green in Southeast London. We've done Bromley, and so many other places. Sheffield, Handsworth, Hanbay in Kent, Colchester. So I have been all around. Literally travel instructor, if you want to call me that. So but anyways, let's get on the road. Look in the channel, look in the playlist. There's so many options. So if you can't find a test in Wood Green and maybe you're considering Tottenham or something else around you, oh, I forgot to mention Barking as well. So yeah, if you're looking for something around you but you're worried about what the roads might look like, then this is the right place for you. So look in the playlist and see what those other places look like. Maybe it might be good for you. Maybe you might just consider, oh, okay, I think I'm okay with this roads and all that. Keep in mind, this is just while you start your journey to driving. But once you pass, you get on with the roads and eventually you should be able to drive everywhere. That's the idea, right? We're not learning and trying to take a test to just drive in Wood Green. The idea is, obviously at the beginning you're worried and that, but eventually you settle in. So let's get on the road. Sun is coming out, looking good. So let's jump out before the rain comes back. All right, so as we're about to get out on the road, the time right now is 11:57 a.m. So that's when the test route or this video starts. And keep in mind, when you're going for your test, a lot of the times learners fail because of anxiety. And I have heard many times from learners, some people might end up taking energy drinks, some people might take coffee, but from research I've read that caffeine is actually not good for you if you're trying to deal with anxiety. So you might want to look into this. So don't try and take coffee or energy drink before trying to use that to help you with your driving test. Maybe keep you up at night for whatever reason it is. Maybe you're watching videos to try and prepare for it. But if you'd ask me, I always advise my learners to try and keep keep whatever you do the night before you test to the minimum. The most important thing is to have a good night's sleep, have a good rest, wake up fresh, feel good, look good. All of that's going to help the way you feel. And if you feel good, you're more likely to drive well, you're more likely to do good. Let's get going. So that's the test center and you would be starting at this point. So in there, And first instruction is to turn left here. Don't stress yourself don't stress yourself worrying and trying so hard, especially in situations where learners are trying to even do some few more hours of lessons on the day of their test before you head up for the test. Well, the thing is, yourself, but most of the time I would advise against this because it's more likely going to cause you more anxiety. Think of it this way: whatever you couldn't change through lessons 2 months before the test, you couldn't do it 2 weeks before the test, nor could you have done it a week or a day before your test. What makes you think you can change it 1 hour before your test? So just think of it that way. So yeah, we've got a junction ahead, and at the junction we are turning left and immediately right. So keep that in mind as you position yourself when you exit. So I would skip the car, and this is the junction. Don't let this gray thing confuse you. Can be confusing at times if you're obviously thinking too much. All right. And then we're turning left. I'm sure Woodring test routes are probably going to have some meetup with Tottenham test routes. So some routes might be shared, or some routes might intertwine. They might come into each other, but we'll see as we go. And Woodgreen was what? Oh, I forgot to mention, I did my test at Woodgreen. My first test, by the way, I'll tell you a secret. I failed my first 2 tests here in Woodgreen, and that was probably about 13 years ago. Yeah, and I was angry. I'm hoping I'll come through that route I took 13 years ago. Yeah, so I felt like I was being failed unfairly, just like everyone else, which in my case, to be honest, let's be honest, it was unfair. I'll come into that maybe later on, but I don't want to go long about it for now. Yeah, and first was, I think it was 2 minor faults, and then 1 serious fault, and then the second one was 3 minor faults, one of the 2, and then I got angry about it, and I decided I wasn't coming back to Woodgreen. So I then booked the next one. I booked the 3rd test, which was the one I passed eventually, in Borehamwood. Now, I never took as much lessons in Borehamwood like I did in Woodgreen because I lived just 5 minutes away from this test center that time. So yeah, we've got a mini roundabout here, don't forget. Okay, that van is turning, so it's good to go. So yeah, I probably took about 2 lessons or so in Borehamwood, and I went ahead and passed at Borehamwood. With 3 minor faults. And yeah, that was it. So as we can see, the rain is back again, but what can I do? I'm hoping it's not going to be this. I mean, it won't be more than this. So at least we can still manage this. We can see with this. But if it gets worse than this, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay, so we're joining the dual carriageway. We've got 40 miles an hour. All right. Traffic as usual on this road. All right, thank you. Thank you. And then we're going to be turning right later on ahead. So because of this traffic, I'm going to do that lane change as quick as possible or sorry, as early as possible, because I have a chance now, so why not? If you don't take the opportunity now, you might struggle later on ahead to change lane. Now don't forget, if you're coming through this route on your test and there is no traffic, remember that it's now 40. So if it's safe, adjust your speed accordingly, keep up with traffic and make progress. So luckily that traffic light, the traffic from oncoming side are both turning. They're turning right as well as us, so you wouldn't have traffic going straight that you'd have to wait for. But I mean, never say never. Look out, make sure. You never know. Could be a drunk driver on the road. Okay, and then we're going to turn right at the next traffic light ahead. Now from this point, I can see the markings on the floor. That makes this crossroad easy. So make sure you look out for the floor markings. The floor markings at this traffic light makes the decision a lot more easier because you don't really have to think so much. Just follow the floor markings. But then you might come across other crossroad with no markings where you would have to negotiate with the other road users. So if crossroad is not your strength and you're not so good with this, then you want to do some more practice, work with your instructors and try and understand how to get around it. It's pretty easier once you are used to it and you know what you're doing. Okay, so that's the floor marking over there. So you want to get yourself into this point. Unfortunately, this driver hasn't positioned properly, but we can make do with it. Remember, this light is not for you, so don't stop at that red. It's just a secondary light, or it's for the traffic on the other side of the road. That's not so good. So we've got that priority sign there being covered by the tree. But again, if you're looking out for these things, you will find them. Very funny. You've got 30 starting from this point. That is very, very, should I say silly, or just doesn't make sense. And this is the problem with this new sign system. Some places are supposed to be 20, but they've actually got them as 30. And some places which you'd expect to be 30 are surprisingly 20. Yeah, welcome to London. So you've got to be aware of these changes and make sure that you're adapting your speed accordingly. course, make sure it's safe. So we're back to the dual carriageway. So we literally just went on the other side. So we started over there. See that right there? You've got to be careful of signals like that. Okay, I've got an opportunity coming, so go for it. Now, you don't want to be too worried and caught up focusing on the cars. You've got to focus on the lane you're trying to get into, because at that point you could get yourself carried away and you're actually waiting even though the left lane is now free. Now straight ahead, the next exit to Enfield, that is Great Cambridge Roundabout, and that normally would be one of the routes for Tottenham. So luckily the rain is not really that much, so we can still see from the cameras. Alright, so we should be planning to take our exit now. Taking the next exit. Mirror check. Signal left. Now, as you take the exit at this point, keep to the right because the left lane is turning left at the traffic light ahead, and we are continuing straight. And then we're coming back into 30 zone. And this is also part of Tottenham Test Centre's route. So, like I said earlier on, they do meet up. So as you follow this bend, we are going to keep right. Look out for the yellow box. So keep right because we're turning right at the traffic light. Now, if you were to be turning left, then you want to keep left at that point. And if I look at the sat nav right now, I can see that we're turning left just a few yards after this right turn. So that means start preparing for that. If it was 2 lanes as you turn, then that means at that point you want to keep left as you actually turn. So don't turn and sit in the right lane because you're going to struggle turning left. And if you were turning left and you're the first car there, you want to make sure you are aware of the filter, because a lot of the times people do miss the filter and it goes green. So there we go. So it's 2 lanes, but then eventually merges into 1 lane. Okay, turning left. Another thing I need to mention is that the speed you see on the screen is always going to be about 3 miles per hour below what is actually in the car. So if you're saying 20, I'm actually doing about 23 miles an hour. So as we follow this bend, we're turning left immediately as you take the bend. So don't miss this. I do get a lot of learners missing this turn here. And this is literally Tottenham test route. Literally. Because I have done this in Tottenham. If you wonder why I'm laughing because the speed limit on this road is 30. And we've come through some main roads that are 20. So I don't know what's going through their mind. It is bonkers. It is bonkers. So 20 from this point, and that sign right there is facing the wrong side. I really do hope someone reports that to the council, because that can be confusing. And I'm hoping the examiner will point out to you, to let you know that that's speed. But on the other hand, there is a marking on the floor as well, so it's 20. But if that marking wasn't there, then I would be hoping that the examiner will point out the fact that that sign is facing the wrong direction. And this is also the reason why you can't be trusting the speed sign you see on your car's dash if your car has a speed recognition camera on, like this one, because it wouldn't be the car's fault. The car's just showing you what it says. Now that sign is facing the wrong side, so the car would literally just show you what it picks up on the road. So this is the reason why you want to be very careful if you drive a car with all these cameras on them. Oh. This is very, very, very funny, because this is literally driving through Tottenham test route. For a second I thought maybe I put the wrong route. So treat this as a mini roundabout, because it literally used to be painted clearly as a mini roundabout. So I don't know what happened and what they did there. They just made it a bit more confusing with that new thing in the middle there. So as you can see, this is a 20 road, but we've just driven past that little tiny road with garages and that was 30. So don't get confused based on the size of the road. You've got to really look out and sweep the road so that you are aware of the speed limits. Because if you just assume, it's a small road, so it's more likely going to be 20. And this is a bigger road, it's going to be 30. You're going to be in for a shock. So don't do that. Here we've got a normal roundabout sign, and then we've got a mini roundabout sign. Yeah. So, actually, yep. So right there to our right is Tottenham Test Centre. Just literally right there. So if you can't find a test in Wood Green, then maybe you can consider Tottenham. And as you can see, they do share routes. And believe it or not, I am 6 minutes to the end of this test route. Just that. 6 minutes to the end. So this is very, very short. It's a very short test route. And if you should get this route, I'd say relax, stay calm, and you should be fine. I mean, the only major thing we've done so far was going through that dual carriageway, which you had the 40 and briefly 50. But other than that, this is really it. This is it. So you're going to do your normal pulling up on the left every now and then your maneuvers. Okay, so we're coming to the traffic light, and at the traffic light we're going to be continuing straight. So keep to your left if you don't want to be stuck behind this traffic turning right. So make sure you plan ahead. Alright, so I'm back in now. The camera overheated, and that was quite disappointing because this is a new one. And I bought it because it was supposed to be better with dealing with heat. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So yes, we are now just a minute from getting to the end of the test route. And that's really it. That was just about, what, 20 minutes drive. Okay, so we're turning right. Speed changes to 30 at that point. And you want to be careful at this junction because you've got these cars on the right which are going to be blocking your view. So peep and creep when it's safe so that you can see better. All right. Okay, and that would have been it. So test center on our right, back, and you'll be turning right into the road. Don't forget, don't rush yourself. You don't want to make a mistake when you're coming to end your test as you turn into the center. So stay calm. Remember to wait for oncoming traffic. It sounds funny, but yes, these things happen. And you're so focused about finishing the test. Maybe you thought you've done everything well, and perhaps you might have, but then unfortunately, you then make one last mistake as you turn into the road, into the test center. So make sure you don't do that mistake. All right, so that was really it. The time right now is 12:24, and that took just about 20 minutes. So it's a very, very short route. Of course, you'll be doing the parking and the maneuvers. And the pulling up on the left here and there. But that probably will maybe add another 5 minutes or so, depending on how quick or how slow you do it. So 5 to 10 minutes, and puts you to about 30 minutes at the end of it. I mean, I've seen many tests. If you watch my videos on other tests, they're mostly about 30 minutes-ish, about 35, 40 longest. So this is the end of this video, and I hope you find it helpful. Don't forget, if you like the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. That's gonna really help the channel. So I'll see you in the next episode. So number 2 is ready and probably should be coming up in the next 1 or 2 days. So I'll see you in the next video. Stay blessed, peace, one love, and I'm out.